Welcome to Freezer Milk Podcast. I'm your host, Bridget, along with my husband, Chris. Weekly, we talk about being parents, what happened that week. It's basically our therapy session to vent out everything that we went through. We are boy parents. We have 3 boys, Enzo, Rhett, and Arlo. And if you'd like to get to know us a little bit better, you can check out our website, freezermilk.com, or follow us on Instagram at Freezer Milk Podcast. We also have YouTube and TikTok, Freezer Milk. Thanks so much for listening, and we hope you enjoy.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We're sitting here having a disagreement about how to open up podcasts.
You know.
My last run at it wasn't very good.
No, you're like, thanks for tuning in, and I don't know what to say about
Hey, it's not the easiest thing in the world to come up with an opening for a podcast.
Welcome back works just fine.
Yeah, okay, fine. Well, welcome back.
Yes.
St. Patty Day's week.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, we were a little late this week getting to the podcast because it's been a week.
And we had Rhett's second birthday.
We did have his second birthday. I think he enjoyed it.
How is he already 2?
I know, it's flying by.
I made a little video.
Is it crazy that do you just look at him? Like, I'll be sitting here and I'll just like take a hard look at him and I'm like, man, he's not a baby anymore. He's turning into a little kid.
Yeah. I feel like that change happened in the last 5 months.
Yeah, absolutely.
That, like looking at like Thanksgiving time frame versus Christmas, he transitioned somewhere around then.
And he's like really come into his personality. He's gotten much taller. Like, because you had a friend come over and they brought their daughter, yeah. Who when I saw him last, she was much bigger than him. Now he like towers.
Yeah. And
I'm like, wow. Like, holy cow, he's like, you know, he's kind of a big kid as it is, but yeah. For his age, but
you're tall, you make tall babies. That's just what it is.
Yeah. So we've been taking the kids to the doctor's appointments, right? And they give you these charts. Essentially, it's just like a, you know, they let you know.
I feel like we talked about this with Arlo's measurements recently because he is projected to be like 6'3".
Yeah. Well, no, that's just it. So they give you projections based off of, you know, their current weight and height and all this stuff. And both of my sons, Rhett and Arlo, have always had really big heads and have been off the charts for height or length.
And projected over 6 foot.
And they're all project, you know, like Rhett's projected 6'2", Arlo's projected 6'3", and we take Enzo to the doctor today. He had his 8-year checkup today, and we get the thing and we plug it all in, and it says he's projected to be 5'6".
Oh no, that's it. 5'6.5".
5'6.5".
Oh, baby.
So I don't know. I just think it's really funny, and I feel for Enzo because he's probably going to be the small boy of the family.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be the bruiser and beat up his bigger brothers or whatever the case may be.
He's just going to outsmart them.
I don't know. We're going to have to put him in like karate or taekwondo or make sure that he knows how to fight.
He's going to be the kid that like outsmarts them.
Pretty much, yeah. They're always going to get in trouble with us because he's going to do shit behind, you know, we don't know about.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
Arlo had shots today.
Yeah,
so
Arlo
he's a little fussy.
Yeah. He didn't take it very well.
No. Poor baby.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to record podcasts when you have a baby that likes to scream. Poor guy.
I know. He's just not feeling great.
Yeah.
But, so, we had Rhett's second birthday, and I made this little video that made you a little teary-eyed.
Mm-hmm.
Just the photos of all of him for the last 12 months, and it's like, it is just mind-boggling to see how much he's grown. Like, even the height, like some of those photos, he's like in the kitchen, and like he could barely reach the top of the countertop, and now like he can almost see the top of the countertop.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I find it fascinating that like you'll put together these videos like that or the collages or whatever of him growing up, and like we go like over the last 2 years, you know, like the beginning of it, you know, you kind of go in like the first year of a baby's life, you kind of like go into like a hole because you like just go into a like because you're trying to get through it, you're sleep deprived, you're trying to figure it all out. It's really tough. It's an adjustment. So I forgot about a lot of the stuff that you put in that video. And like all my life I've been so like, the male bravado, I'm hard. I don't cry and, all this stuff. And you sent me that video and I'm like, oh my God, my baby. It's amazing when you have children, how much
it's funny
the emotion they bring out in you.
You didn't get teary-eyed when Rhett was born, because I think it was also new to you. But when Arla was born, you cried. And I think it was because you understand the relationship that you are going to build with him.
Yeah.
Versus with Rhett, it was unknown.
The first few months of the relationship with Arlo has been I don't want to say better, but
it's been a lot different.
It's been easier.
Yeah, Rhett was a very hard baby.
So,
it's if you hadn't gotten your vasectomy, Arlo might convince us to have more babies.
Yeah, nope, I'm done.
Because he's such a sweetheart.
He is. He struggles with gut issues, but I don't know. He sleeps good.
Oh my gosh.
He's starting to eat well. He's gaining weight now.
Yeah, I think he's up to like 12 pounds.
Yep.
It's amazing. And he sleeps like 8 hours at a time at night. Well, I've never had that. Not a single one of my kids was ever a sleeper.
But we still don't get any sleep because Rhett gets up at 4 a.m.
I love how you're like, he gets up at 4. It was 6:40.
Whatever. That was a one-off.
No, it was
all right,
6:40.
He gets up anywhere between 5:30 and 6:30.
Yeah.
Is his window.
5:30 is not 4 a.m.
It's early for me, especially because you keep me up late at night.
Susan today, our nanny was like, Cree said he changed Rhett at 4 o'clock in the morning when he got up. He was up early. I was like,
no, I said I had.
I said, Susan, you know, Cree likes to exaggerate his times by a lot.
That's not what I said.
She was like, so was it after 6? I was like, exactly.
I could have sworn I said my intention was to change him at 4 a.m., but I didn't sleep very well last night. So, anyway.
It's, you got a sleep mask now.
Yeah, that's horrible, by the way. Apparently I have sleep apnea, so now I gotta do this machine thing that plugs into my nose and gives me oxygen so I don't die in the middle of my sleep.
It is the weirdest thing, though. Like, they warned you about this, and you told me about it as the partner.
Yeah.
I have gotten very used to
my snoring.
Your snoring. And the first night with your sleep mask, that shit is silent. Like, there is no sound coming out of that machine at all until you're like, if you open your mouth, you can hear like the air rush, but that shit is silent.
Yeah, but what about my snoring?
You don't snore at all.
Zero. I'm getting the oxygen my body needs.
It's just silence on your side of the bed, dead silence, and I'm like,
is he breathing?
Yeah.
You were so used to hearing me like.
Well, you don't
gasp for air.
You don't really roll around either. Like,
I'm having trouble keeping the damn thing on my face.
Yeah, but you're not tossing and turning like you used to with your snoring, because your snoring, I think, used to kind of wake you up, so you'd like toss and turn and change position a lot, and so you're just like laying there silently still, and I'm like, we good? You good over there? Let me just prod you for a second, see if you move.
I've noticed that I've been waking myself up earlier, and not like tired, like getting up and like being like, hey, okay, it's time to start my day. Mm-hmm. Which before I would get up, but I was exhausted. Like I would literally come out here because Rhett woke up. And I'd come out to my couch and like lay there and like fall asleep again with Rhett.
Yeah, you're not doing that anymore.
I don't do that anymore. I just go right to work.
That's awesome.
Well, I don't have anything to do.
Not the going to work part, but
so I just go straight into going to work.
But that's awesome that you're feeling like.
And that's only been like 72 hours.
Yeah.
Like I'm amazed to see what happens in a year. How much better I'll be. But yeah, it's interesting contraption. They're very quiet, very...
Yeah, it's not what... I think everyone thinks it's going to be this big, huge, loud, noisy thing, and like... No, it's
not at all.
silent.
You don't even hear it.
And it's just like a nasal cannula. That's it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We had a really good conversation with Enzo tonight.
Yeah, we did. Finally, the first time I've been able to pry anything out of him.
So his therapist had told us, when Enzo's feeling emotional, do not try to get him to tell you in that moment what is making him emotional. And as adults, like, we want to do that. We want to be like, okay, well, what's going on? You're obviously upset. Tell me what's happening. I can't help you if you're not communicating to me. But his therapist said, no, don't do that. Wait. Let him know, hey, I'm here. If you need a hug or you want to talk, I'm here. You're safe. I got you. And then let it go. And then later, when he's calmed down, in a couple hours or that evening, circle back. And that's what we did today. Is we circled back.
Yeah, right before bed. He actually opened up.
He was able to explain to us, like, why he was feeling emotional earlier. But then we had a whole conversation about, like, each of us kind of giving examples about times when we've made each other mad. So, like, when you've made me mad, or I've made you mad, or when, you know, we've made Enzo mad, or Enzo's made us mad, or, you know, when he's been mad at his stepmom or his dad, or, you know, his brother, or when his brother has made us mad. Like, we had a whole conversation about just kind of being mad and why things make us mad, and, you know, examples of them and how we handle them, and giving coping tools on, like, how to work through when you do get mad about something. It was really good.
I still have my tantrums, and I'm 35 years old. So.
I mean, yeah, but yeah. That's all I got, yeah. I don't have any, like, it's just a yeah. But it was like, it was such a, I was so proud in that moment, like that conversation of, holy shit, like, he's
That's why you're
actually...
like, it was like his bedtime, and you're like, you just let it ride. You're like, let's keep pulling this out of him.
We'll
right.
Like,
talk to him. If he's going to talk to us, let's do it now.
If he's going to talk to us, like, absolutely, let's just keep talking and find out what he's upset about, or him thinking that, you know...
I was purposely trying to drown him in the ocean 3 years ago when we went to California.
When Enzo was 4.
Fuck.
He was 4. We were at the beach in California, and I was sitting up in the chair, because I think I was, I don't know, just sitting up in the chair, and you had Enzo down at, like, the ocean water line.
Mind you, he's not very good at swimming. He wasn't very good at swimming. He wasn't a swimmer.
No, he's still iffy, but he was 4. And you knew that I was, like, super paranoid about drowning and everything like that. And this huge wave comes, and it knocks his balance, and he, like, goes under. And you immediately grab him and, like, pull him up. And you look back at me like, oh, fuck. Bridget's going to be real mad at me. Like, I fucked up on this one. Well, Enzo.
Apparently, for the last 4 years.
4 years has thought that you pushed him under
and
the
held
water.
his head under the water.
Because he was like, well, I felt something pushing my head down. And then I felt you pull me up. So you were pushing me down. You pushed me under the water. And we were like, what? What? No, bud. Waves push you down. Like, that's what happened. What?
Kids say the darndest things.
For 4 years, he's thought that. Oh. So then we tried to have a conversation about how the ocean is very dangerous and we have to respect it, and waves push you down and
take you out.
That's why, like, seashells get battered and everything. It's from the waves. But
yeah.
It was just such a cool conversation, though, to, like, talk about and have him express times that he's been mad or upset. And he asked us, like, when have I made you mad? And I expressed a time, like, hey, I was mad and, like, hurt at this situation, and this was why. And I don't know how he took that, but it was probably good for him to kind of hear, like, you know, or we explained when Rhett's made us mad, or, you know,
it's really, it gets to be, like, especially in the moment, like, it gets really frustrating and really hard as a parent when a child won't communicate to you when they're being moody about something.
Or, like, blatantly crying.
You're crying.
And you're like,
why are you
What
crying?
is happening?
Is that just, like, because we're so hardened? Life has just hardened us so much that we're like, what the fuck are you crying about? Like, because, like, he, at his age, he cries about, like, Pokemon stuff and, like, you know, things not, you know, necessarily going his way with his games or whatever. And I'm like, all I can think to myself is, man, you're in for a rude awakening. Like, how do we...
And you probably blocked it from your memory, but I guarantee that you cried about stuff, too, at that age. Because at that age, like, that is your world.
Yeah.
You know?
You don't have the responsibilities in the family.
You don't have the responsibilities. You do not have a full-time job. You don't have bills to pay. You don't have to worry about feeding people and keeping them safe and keeping them from eating mud and, you know, everything. Speaking of which, we did not keep Rhett from eating mud this week.
That's a change the story, but I gotta tell this one. Man, it rained really hard here, and my backyard got soaked, and obviously with rain comes mud, and the next day when it cleared up, we let Rhett go out back, and
Rhett and Enzo. Yeah.
Rhett and Enzo, they go out back, and they got a whole backyard. We got turf and rocks and pool and stuff like that.
Fenced off pool.
Yeah. But anyway, Rhett was apparently eating some of the mulch and mud and stuff from whatever. And
I don't know, why he decided to eat it. I don't know. He just thought it apparently looked fucking delicious and took a fistful of it and shoved it in his mouth, chewed it. It had pieces of rock and twig in it. And he swallowed that shit. Yeah,
and it literally came out in full form today, and it went I was sitting here, and
or do we need to put him on antibiotics for all the bacteria,
dysentery and
right?
shit? He literally was sitting here, and Enzo I was doing something, and Enzo goes,
Rhett stained
the couch. And I'm like, what do you mean Rhett stained the couch? I come out here and there's this yellow paste across the couch. And
he had mac and cheese for lunch.
Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe it's off his hands or something like that.
Because we've been slowly introducing dairy to him.
So, and it looked dried to me. So I touched it with my foot and it was just slimy. And I'm like, what is that? Yeah, so...
it was slimy.
Yeah, it was slimy on my foot. And I'm like, man... what is it? And I'm thinking, did Rhett poop? Maybe he pooped himself. But how, he was wearing this joggers and a sweatshirt. And I'm like, all right. So I go to check him, and
but it was the texture of the sweatshirt was Barefoot Dreams blankets. If you guys know what those are, it's amazingly soft.
Yeah, and so I grab him and I pull back his shirt. And I feel something just ooze down my hand because I pulled back his shirt to open up his diaper, from behind. You know how you normally do that? Yeah. You pull and you look down their thing.
Their butt?
Yeah, their butt. And so I pulled it out and it just oozed down my hand. And I'm like, wait, did I reach into the diaper? I had to think about it for a second. Maybe I'm sleep deprived. A lot of shit's happening. Maybe I reached into his diaper on accident. And so I did a double take and I look, and he completely blew out his diaper. 2 years old, blew out his diaper. It went completely up his back. I don't know how he did it because he wasn't laying down. And gravity goes down, right? This thing shot like a rocket straight up his back, all the way up his neck into his hair. And I'm like, oh my God. This is not really what I want to deal with right now.
No, because you got pooped on yesterday real bad.
I got pooped on yesterday. I think I did myself in because I was saying, it was a long time ago, about the babies. I said none of the babies have ever peed on me. And now it's I get shit on every other day. I don't understand it. Or Arlo throws up. He'll eat excessively until he's too full and he throws up. So, I don't know. It
was a lot of shit.
It was a lot of shit. I had it all over the... Yeah, and Arlo did it.
So it was the mud. It had to have been the mud or dysentery or whatever.
But Arlo did it to me yesterday. Yeah, so Arlo did it to me yesterday. He was struggling or it was during Rhett's birthday. That was yesterday.
Yeah.
Man.
Seems so long ago, doesn't it? Today was a long day.
We were horrible parents. I'm a horrible parent.
Today was a long
day.
Today,
I honestly felt like it was last week, but here we are. So yeah, Arlo yesterday did the same thing, except, he wasn't feeling well, so I took him in the back room, and I did a bunch of tummy time with him, and was trying to, get him to poop, and I'm sitting in the chair, and I had him it's like a seated position, facing away from me, holding him close to my chest, and I just felt something on my arm. It was warm. And I'm like, maybe peed. And I picked him up and I'm like, oh my God, there's yellow mustard all over my arm. It's all over the pillow. It's all over my pants. It's all over the shirt. I'm like, man.
Did you set him in the crib? Because it was on the crib today.
So I set him because I had it all over my hand and I was trying not to get it all over his like head and back, so I set him onto the changing table so I could get the shit off my arm.
Yeah.
And I got it all over the fucking changing table, so I cleaned him up, but I had to pull the sheet off of it.
Yeah.
So I could get a clean sheet.
Yeah.
And I put him in the crib, but I thought I cleaned him all the way up, but apparently I didn't. And I didn't clean myself up because I had to.
I think
it was probably when I leaned over to put him in the crib. It was just a shit show. I mean, literally, figuratively. And then today, it's just, we'll cap it off with, Rhett doing the same thing to me. I'm like, man, it's a lot.
Yeah. We've been doing some hustling this week.
Yeah.
Working on our side, business, and really like stepping into a phase of, like lean into things that are uncomfortable, lean into realizing that you got to be uncomfortable to grow. And I think that's really, like, I'm proud of us for that.
Yeah, we had to take some, what are they called? Colby indexes?
Yeah, the Colby Index Assessment.
Yeah.
That was really interesting.
We both took them. You can kind of elaborate, explain a little bit more detail on those.
So it's an assessment. It's not like a Myers-Briggs or personality test. It's more of like, what is your like mode of operation? Like, how do you work? Like, what are your base characteristics of like your work type, work ethic, just how you function, your mode of operation with work. And it was really interesting because there's like 4 categories, and in 2 of the categories, you and I are almost identical. We are 1 point off from each other, and the points aren't like a 0 to 10. Like 0 means you don't have it, 10 means you do. It's like 0 to 3 means like you might be someone who is great at stability and risk assessment and researching all of that, and 7, 8, 9, 10 might be, hey, you're the person that jumps in and like you take risk and you are the one to lean into things versus the stability side. And that it's a balance, So in 2 of the categories, you and I were almost identical, which was really cool to see. But the part that was my favorite was that the 2 remaining categories, we are like exactly perfectly paired, in that in one where you scored a 7, I scored a 3. In the one that I scored an 8, you scored a 2. Like, we perfectly balanced to get that full like sweep 10, which was so cool to me to see that, like, hey, where I am very like, I envision stuff, and I am on like the far side of the spectrum for like, I'm a visionary, I envision things and like innovate, that is who I am. You are on the side of like, you can model and you can put it into a physical 3D and you can create a plan for the vision that I have.
Execution.
Yeah, like it's really cool to see how well it balances out for us.
Yeah. And we're hoping that carries over into our businesses and our daily life, and I think it does, like, because, I mean, for the most part, we do pretty well, so.
It's cool to see, though, too, even just from a, how can we try to communicate and work better as a couple in everything we do, house projects, parenting, life, all of it, and realize, like, oh, like, the part that we laughed at so hard is that because I am, like, the visionary, and I envision and innovate and all of that, I don't pay attention to the fine, minute details all the time. And, like, one of the things said, hey, people that are like you, do not take apart small appliances. Literally said that on this test. And you and I died laughing because 110% that is me.
Oh, yeah.
If I was to take apart a small appliance, I'd be like, well, fuck.
Guess I'm going to buy a new small appliance.
I don't know how this all goes back together. Even if I took a video, I couldn't put this back together.
It's something that me and you struggle with, like, when we're doing house projects.
Yeah.
You have a vision for something, but you never write it down. Like, and I am hey, you give me a drawing, I can execute the drawing, and I'll give you critiques.
And you told me, like, hey, draw it out for me. But we're learning through, like, doing these assessments, like, I should not draw it out for you.
You need to tell me your vision. I need to draw it, and you need to sign off on it.
Pretty much. But it was interesting to kind of see how well we mesh and blend, and it made me really proud of us. We picked the right people in life, and we picked the right business partner, and we picked the right parenting, partner. And,
well, that's a whole thing in itself. It's one thing to be in a relationship and do the daily grind and have kids together, but we're trying to add a business. We both work from home. We have kids together. We are around each other a lot, and that's something that we've discussed in the past that we've seen with relationships with that the individual or the couples aren't around each other, or they're on opposite schedules. There's a lot of separation there, so things aren't really jiving together. And we've noticed it because I wasn't always working from home. A lot of times I was in the field or whatever the case may be. But now that I work from home, I think we are doing our lives side by side, instead of me trying to catch up or you trying to catch up, or vice versa. So.
And we understand we are extremely fortunate to have that option.
Yeah, not everybody gets that.
Remember when we first started dating and first got serious, you were working for a company and the husband and wife worked together, and you and I were like,
no way.
No way. You never get a break. You're just around them all the time. And here we are.
Yep, around each other all the time, and then we're starting,
and we kind of love
creating businesses together. And
we get frustrated, or we had the conversation then tonight about times we make each other mad. We get frustrated, we get mad, we get, oh my God, I need a fucking break. But overall, I love that we're around each other all the time.
Yeah.
I love that we get the moments and the memories and the cute things that the kids do. We both get to see, or, whatnot.
Well, you're my person.
Yeah, you're my person.
And we get to do this together, and we get to build and grow, and we learn, and we take crazy assessments that help us try and figure out, even better ways or more mature or more ways to, work together and be compatible. And
well, it's we talk about, with different things we do in life. There's moments where I'll tell you're down, and I'm like, what's going on? And you'll be like, I feel like I'm not giving anything into this right now, and you're giving everything, Bridget, and I feel like I need to pull my weight. And I'm like, dude, you pulled your weight when you went and did A, B, C, and D, and I didn't. You're fucking good, I promise.
Well, and I think it helps that we're, when you're forced to be around each other, you're kind of, it helps you to communicate more, I think. I don't know. You have to. I mean, what was I telling Enzo? I said, we're 5 people in a 3,000 square foot house. We get 600 square feet apiece. You have to communicate.
Yeah.
It's
so true.
So.
It's been a good week.
Yeah, we've had a great week. What was last week was rough, but I don't know. We'll take the win when we can.
Yeah. What's cool too is our podcast is starting to get a little bit of traction with YouTube randomly. People on YouTube like the YouTube shorts with little clips from the podcast. So for those of you that have found us via YouTube, welcome, thank you. We're so
and if
excited.
there's anything else you want us, anything else you want us to talk more about, please feel free. You can ask questions,
leave a comment,
leave a comment. Yeah, whatever you want. We're here.
We're on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of it, Spotify, Apple, the works.
Yep. Well, we appreciate you listening to us, and we hope you guys have a wonderful week, and don't drink too many beers tomorrow for St. Patty's Day if you celebrate that.
Only if they're green, though.
Or drink as many as you want. Have fun, be safe.
Thanks so much for listening.
Get a ride. Thanks, everybody, for listening. You can check us out at
freezermilk.com
or Instagram.
Freezermilk Podcast.
Until next week, guys. Thanks.
Don't forget, parenting is a trip. We are all here on the journey with you together. Thanks so much for listening.